Okay, question 4. 4a. The square root of 900. We have seen these kind of questions before. Remember, you can break it down into square root of 9 times the square root of 100. Well, in the question we were told that square root of 9 is 3, but we should know that already. So the square root of 9 is just 3, and the square root of 100 is 10. So we get 30. B, the square root of 9,000. So same idea, I'll just take out the 100 because square root of 100 is 10. You cannot take out 1,000 because the square root of 1,000 is not a perfect square, meaning that it won't give you a nice whole number answer. If you look at the top, the square root of 90 is 9.487, and the square root of 100 is just 10. So now if you times any decimal number by 10, you just move the decimal point 1 to the right. So now it becomes 84.87. We simply move this decimal point 1 places to the right because you're timesing by 10 or just 1 with 1 0. So 94.87 is the answer. C, the square root of 90,000. So we have square root of 9 times the square root of 10,000. So the square root of 1 times 40 is just 1 with 40, which will just be 1 with 20. You just have the amount of 0. Same idea here. There's 20, you have the amount of 0, you get 10. So the square root of 10,000, it's just 100. And the square root of 9 is 3. 3 times 100 is 300. D, the square root of 800,000. This will be the square root of, it's 900,000. So this will be the square root of 90 times the square root of 10,000. So again, I'm just taking these 4 zeros out. Because the square root of 1 with 4 zeros is just 1 with 2 zeros. And the square root of 90, we were told at the top that it is 9.8447. So this time we are timing a decimal number with 1 with 2 0. That means we just move the decimal point 2 to the right. We get 948.7. When you times a number by 1 with 2 0, meaning 100, you just move the decimal point 2 to the right. And then E, we have the square root of 0.9. So I do have to add an extra 0 here. And then now I can say this is the square root of 90 over 100. So you must make sure that you have an even amount of decimals for square root in order for you to be able to simplify them. So now this is the square root of 90 divided by the square root of 100. The square root of 90 is 9.487. And the square root of 100 is 10. When you divide something by 10, a decimal number by 10, you move the decimal point 1 to the left. So your answer is 0.9487. Okay, you just move that decimal point 1 to the left when you divide something by 10. F, the square root of 0.09. So it already has 2 decimal places. That's an even amount of decimal places. So I don't need to add an extra 0. So this will just be the square root of 9 over 100. Right? When you have 2 decimal places, you put it as a fraction. It will just be 1 with 2 zeros. So this becomes the square root of 9 divided by the square root of 100. The square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 100 is 10. And 3 over 10 is 0.3. That's the answer. G, the square root of 0.009. So again, I'm going to have to add an extra 0 here. So now we have 4 zeros. This is 90 over 1 with 4 zeros. The square root of 90 is 9.487. And the square root of 10,000, which is 1 with 4 zeros, is 1 with 2 zeros. Now we can move the decimal point 2 to the left. When you divide something by 1 with 2 0, you move the decimal point 2 to the left. So this will be our final answer, 0.09487. H, the square root of 0.0009. This is the square root of 9 over 1 with 4 zeros. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 1 with 4 zeros is 100. 3 over 100 is 0.03. Okay, so that's it for question 4. I'll see you in question 5.